Welcome to another Atchman Kings of War 3rd Edition Battle Report, the Circle of Iron Tourney Report, the Kingdoms of Men at 2,300 points. So I took the Samuel S. Nordberg list, what I call Variant 1. This one is similar to his. It has a little bit of differences, but it's close. So it starts out with 4 regiments of pikemen, as normal, with 3 troops of pikemen, 1 regiment of fanatics, 2 hordes of foot guard, both with indomitable will, 3 generals on winged beast, with a trickster's wand, the mace of crushing, and the sword of slashing, a hero on a Pegasus with indomitable will, an ASB with loot, and a hero on a horse. Before I do anything about any of the battles, I just want to talk up the Circle of Iron tournament. It was a lot of fun. Ben Bowers and Mike Byram set it up, and just it was a great environment. I'll just say that right there. And everybody, there was a lot of people that knew each other, so that does help with these events. And so that was a good thing. I can't think of anything negative except that it's hard this time of year, if in the South, to control the temperature of a room. We would start out in the morning with our coats on, and by the afternoon we're wearing shorts. I mean, it's just that much of a swing in this part of the South at this time of the year. So I don't know what could be done about that. Probably nothing, but that was the only complaint I had about the whole weekend. I got to hang out with my friends from Team Tennessee. 4 of the originals were there, and hopefully next time we'll get my friend Craig in there, and he'll be the 5th original, and we'll be able to come into another event, maybe even back to the Circle of Iron next year. But the event was really well run. I just can't say enough about the courtesy of Ben and Mike, and what great guys they are. They're fun to play against if you've ever played games against them, and I would strongly endorse coming to this event next year. My first game was against a combat Night Stalker's army with William Goodwin, and I set up totally stupid. I don't know. Must have been nerves. It's been a long time since I played a tournament. I think it's been a couple of years, actually. So maybe a little bit of nerves is part of it. He put all of his chaff units, his Reapers, there were small 10-man, small units of Reapers, deployed all of his cavalry very centrally. His Scarecrows and stuff were way over on the other flank, along with his Phantoms. And so his army, even though my army has 4 flyers in it, his army had 4 flyers in it. So that was not a good thing for me to compete against, honestly. And where I made the mistake this game was I deployed both units of foot guard right next to each other. And this is something that Tom Annis had chastised me online about, is having them together and how easy it is to attack them when they're set up that way. And sure enough, it did. It came back to bite me in this game when I got alpha striked basically on turn 2 and lost one of those units. So here you can see that he has shattered one of my middle units of foot guard, but then the Tüdingen Guard, my other unit of foot guard, slams into one of his units, and I believe he takes it out this turn. I got screwed up this game when one of his flying heroes charged into one of my generals on week before he even moved. It actually was a unit. And they fought the whole game. I just could not beat them. I couldn't roll. The dice didn't like me enough to do that, and the dice didn't like him enough to break me. So it was kind of a mutual thing. And he had went so balls to the walls forward. I was like, don't you know what the scenario is? And I went and flew the generals on winged beast and grabbed all the tokens. So I had all of my tokens right off in this game. And then now he was battling back. He grabbed a couple of quick, but we were tied at one point. But then they had the one here in the woods. I stuck my pikemen and stuff in and started shuffling everything into the woods to defend that last token of his so that he couldn't beat me. You can see here, this is a general on Weeby. She does the army jump, as I call it, jumps behind his forces. And he would easily be able to come over here and take this token that's on the hill at the top here. So, like I said, the whole plan here was when he just went so crazy for it, I thought he was going to leave something back to to guard those. And I just decided, hey, I'm not winning the battle on the field, but I sure as heck can win the scenario if I just keep my discipline and try to take these tokens. There's one left over there in the very corner. You see those big red dot, and I was going to try to get it too. All right, bad things were still happening in the middle, and now basically there was nothing on my right. He's just pushing everything this direction at high speed, just because it'll all fly, so it's going to get there. In the woods there, I have got 2 units of pikes. That's unit strength 6. I'm doing the best. I moved the ASB over there to help as well. I'm trying to line up on those last units over on the other side of those of his Reapers, and I get rid of them. I take the token. Now I've got 3 tokens. He's got 2 tokens. He's got 3 tokens. And so the last token is the decider of this game. And like I said, I have 2 units of pikemen there in the woods, and hoping that will hold that objective until I can get there. As you can see, I'm in a world of hurt here, but I've done everything I can to keep those guys off. But he eventually kills that first unit of pikemen that's in the woods, but I'm within 3 inches of that token. So the best he could do is get unit strength 3 around it. So that means that I had 3 tokens and he had 3 tokens, and so the game ended in a draw. It was tough. I had screwed up so bad this game. All I could do was try to get back in it by playing this scenario. And when he just went balls to the walls across the table, it shocked me so much because I thought he would leave something back to hold objectives and to fight off my flyers. But he just went for it. And like I said, his bold attack really, really shocked me at the end of the game. But I lost 1,400 and something points, and I killed 900 and something points of his, which is a lot, but there was not enough for attrition. So it came down to just a bog standard 10-10 tie. So yes, I was playing J.J. Jones, a guy I've played a couple of times before, and so that was cool. A lot of fun playing with somebody that I know. Makes it a lot more relaxing. And then if I wanted to say something about this scenario, the scenario is control. I don't understand when you're setting up a game table why you put this gigantic chunk of impassable terrain right in the middle of the damn table. And then, of course, basically whenever we do that, it's the same complaint, which is you fight 2 battles. You're not fighting 1 battle because you can't keep your battle line together. So I really don't like the fact that this table had that big chunk of terrain, especially when you're playing a scenario like Control, which I just could not get to the middle. And as you can see, JJ had a clear shot to the middle. And so, like I said, I did not like the terrain on this table one bit. And if I had any advice to Mike and Ben is, put something else there, a hill with the water. I don't care. Just don't put a giant chunk of impassable terrain right in the middle of one deployment zone because it kind of ruins the game for one player. This time I did get smart and did not put all my foot guard on one side. I split them up. One is over there to fight his Abyssal Knights and Acronius and Tortured Souls and some sort of flying person. Then in the middle there was just a whole bunch of stuff with his Molochs. And over on the far end was Bale, and I threw a bunch of flyers over there to counteract Bale because I did not want Bale charging into the middle of my army or just sitting back and shooting lightning bolt 7s at me all day. He did have an Abyssal Champion with lightning bolt, so he had 12 dice of lightning bolt. That's a fairly respectable. Plus he had 2 Drain Life 8s from those 2 Cronius models that he had. And I think there was something else that had a missile attack, but I don't recall what it was. So in almost every game, you make some sort of stupid mistake. And, some of this is honestly from playing on UB2, and I can measure everything so instantly. And I get sloppy when I go back to the table now. So UB2 is not a good practice for me to play on the tabletop. It's a good one for testing out army lists and stuff. But it's just as far as that, I left a millimeter of space between my General on-wing beast and my 2 units of pikemen there, and the Tortured Souls was able to charge me and ground my guy because it would have been a huge effect to get that guy jump behind his army and just start wailing on him like I normally do to people. But this was just a dumb mistake, And again, started the first game with a dumb mistake. Start the second game with a dumb mistake. You can see here that you see what I'm talking about with that big chunk of terrain there. You say, yeah, that's nice to anchor, but if you're having an army that needs inspiring like humans who are very, very average morale, you don't want big chunks of space in between your inspiring sources. And my generals on winged beasts tend to fly off into la-la land by themselves to do things. And that leaves my army, believe it or not, short on inspire, even though I have 4 inspiring units. So it will have an effect on the game. Just want to tell you that. But like I said, basically you're fighting into 2 games. There's this fight over here on this flank, and then there's going to be the fight over on the right with Bale and all those guys. So he left Bale a little close, and I slammed the general on winged beast into him. I probably should have put 2 into him, and that's my bad. I don't know if the second one could have reached him anyway. But the thing is they're about even in fight, and I thought maybe if I could get the first swing that I would hit him, and I actually wavered him, I think 2 or 3 times during the game. But he cheats, he regenerates, so that's not fair. I just want to point that out, that the regeneration kept him going. But you can see I'm in great shape here because I've got 2 flyers back over already into the backfield. My fanatics groups are moving in quickly on his flank. Pikeman to the front, another unit of fanatics moving in on his line. And so I really thought, I thought this game was going to be a one-sided game. Again, you see here, I'm closing in on his flank, and now he's having to turn his Molochs to deal with my General on Winged Beast. I charged him into his Aspiring Champion, I think is what it was, the one that flew, that had the lightning bolt. And I thought, well, I'll blow through that character and move on. Again, I guess, my stupidity, because I forgot about all the drained life, and he was able to just keep me perpetually in a fight. I could not break through those units. It did charge the one of his units there with a pikeman and some fanatics, and I figured that would be a pretty easy kill. And being hindered, that did not help the cause. And the thing is I'm going to gripe again about the terrain, but there's a big woods right next to the stupid impassable terrain, and so I couldn't move fast enough even to get to the middle. So I'm plodding at the middle at half speed, and he can go full speed. So just not good. During this game, JJ and I both had some abyssal dice rolls. I hate abyssal, haha. But we had some bad dice rolls. Just weird stuff that happened during the game that I would have never thought, that would happen on both sides during a game. So this game is very tight, and a lot of it's because both of our dice just decided to go junk on each other. Okay, now we are heavily engaged in the middle, and I guess his ghouls had finished off my fanatics and then charged into the unit of pikemen. And I think his Cronius went ahead and charged into the pikemen too. And I think he charged him in the flank. I believe that was the case. And you could see that he's spreading his circle of dread, or whatever the crap it's called, around all my guys, and they're starting to take damage from it. So here I'm in pretty bad shape as far as that unit. But see, I've got my great swords able to look at that unit of Molochs, and so I'm thinking, even if my fanatics don't finish him off, this basically intact unit of foot guard can do it. So yes, JJ hits his disastrous dice roll of the game and rolls snake eyes, even though he devastated that poor unit of pikemen with the Cronius. And so there he is. And see, here's the choice I had to make. I could have actually went ahead and charged that Cronius in the flank and probably killed it with that unit of foot guard. But instead, I thought the Molochs were a bigger threat because I'm trying to play this game for the scenario. And so it's just a higher threat to go try to kill the Molochs because of their unit strength 3. Okay, the Tortured Souls mistake has continued to plague me as Matsubisu is now beating on my hapless General on Winged Beast. And I think he actually misses him one time, and I just can't get far enough away from him to of course, he flies, so he can always hit me again anyway. So I have devastated the entire left flank. Matter of fact, his Cronius is trying to boogie to the middle to help with to help in this scenario. And my pikemen are moving in, but so much terrain. There's just no way I can move fast. It's just choked with terrain. and I can't move my slow infantry army forward to try to get into the middle. And I was just fortunate that I wasn't even worse shape because of the snake eye. I mean, the snake eyes actually kept me in a better shape than what it would have been otherwise. So here is where the disaster happened. That even though if you look at the game, I'm in pretty damn good shape in this game as far as everything. I charged instead of charging the Cronius in the flank. I went ahead and charged into the Molochs to finish them off. Now I had 50 swings over 2 turns to kill that unit off. I also had one turn where his aspiring champion whiffed on my general on wing beast, and I could have charged him in the rear, but instead I charged an abyssal warlock who also has unit strength, trying to get rid of him, and the dice just turned to junk. I know it wasn't snake eyes. It was just I couldn't hit and I couldn't wound, and I mean I'm rolling for 3s and 3s. It wasn't like that. I was rolling for 5s and 5s or some absurd amount, but I mean I had 8. I mean I should have easily with 50 swings, and then the Molochs just turn around and annihilate me. And that just starts a downhill avalanche of doom. And that's what I was telling my friend Polly that today. I said, one of these things is where you say, I've done everything right, I've got myself in the right position, and then bad dice just hit you all at once, and it's just like, holy crap. Now, because I had no backup plan, I was all in at this point. This is turn 5 or 6. I had no backup plan at this point. I mean, early in the game, yeah, but not this point of the game. So, yeah, here's the last picture. Bale and the Cronius and the other Cronius, I had a unit of foot guard. You notice I said had. They just got wiped out by Drain Life, the Aspiring Champions Lightning Bolt, and Bale's Lightning Bolt just in one turn just poofed them with all that shooting. And even at this point, I'm still okay as far as unit strength, okay? I'm not okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not. I needed something good to happen over there. I needed a turn 7 to even have a chance because of what was going on in this game. But I really didn't have anything I could do. I think I had my general on wing beast got wavered by something, probably shooting. I don't know. But I mean, the game turned from what I thought was going to be an easy win into just an unmitigated disaster on the dice. And my army was choked in this game by terrain. I mean, I could blame the dice, but I'm going to really blame the terrain for what happened in this game. I could not get to the middle of the table with a good enough amount of my unit strength to have a chance in this scenario. And I understand he was a little choked, but the giant impassable on that end of the table just totally boffed me. So my third game was against young Jackson Blakemore. He had an army of orcs. I don't know if it's his army. It was really beautifully painted. I really enjoyed the army itself. I set up, this time I did not set up my, 2 units of foot guard together because there was yet another gigantic chunk of impassable terrain right in the middle of the deployment zone. I mean, guys, come on. If you're going to have them, split them up a little bit anyway. So, or put on one on each side, but really the side of the table side in these games was it was like the most important role of the game on some of these games just because of the way the terrain was set up. So, anyway, he had just this massive orc army, and so this ended up being, just like I always say, when you split an army up, you end up with 2 distinctly different games, and that's what's going to happen in this game. So over here on this left flank, he massed a lot of fast stuff, but I massed a lot of pikemen. So that's always a bad sign if you're the guy with a lot of fast stuff to fight a bunch of pikemen who are designed specifically to slow you down. And we were playing the loot scenario, I believe. And so you can see the 3 tokens that are across the table there. And I was going to do my best to get that token, all these tokens here, and try to win this game. I don't mean to say anything bad about my opponent, but he's very young. I'm not sure how old he is. And so there was a lot of me just stopping to teach him this game as opposed to just trying to kill him. Because, I mean, I was just way more experienced a player and ended up smashing most of his middle. But and he did a great job with his orcs in the middle there. I got the General on Wing Beast into the rear. I was very patient. I could have charged him earlier, but I waited till later so that I could make devastating charges and wipe them out. Over here on the right, my pikeman held off, and the fanatics are going to the rear with the token. Over on the extreme left, he has the token over there and is hiding in those woods. But you can see all my infantry is closing in on him right there to try to get it back from him. So what ended up happening in this game, my camera died, and so I don't have any more pictures after this. So I'll just tell you what happened is that my fanatics down here on the end did manage to keep their token and back up with it. Over in the far end, I did an overwhelming charge in to get the token away from him. And he convinced me that if I let him charge the corner of the pike to give the token to one of my pikemen, that he could charge, and said, if I get it, you'll drop it and we'll just call it a draw. And I of course, I didn't care. I mean, I'm already out of everything so far. And so, he came in, rolled a whole bunch of sixes and killed my pikeman, and then and the token dropped to the ground, and he shook my hand and said, it's a draw. And I said, yeah, why not? It's a draw. I mean, easily could have won the game, but it didn't. It wasn't. It didn't prove anything. I mean, like I said, I was as much having fun just teaching him how to play the game and teaching him not to make mistakes, and letting him take back some moves that were just, it's just like, I don't want to win the game that way. I'm sorry. I just don't. I just was enjoying playing with this young man, and he was the delightful young man to play with. And so I just think, well, draw, that's a good way to end it. So I finished the first day with 2 draws and 1 loss. So at the end of my first day, I hadn't done that well, but it's okay. One of the things that Team Tennessee, we haven't played a tournament in forever. And like I said, last time I played one, I think was the Crucible, and I'm not sure how long ago was that. And I did actually fairly well at that tournament. But it has been a long time, and I think there's just a difference in playing on the tabletop and playing online for some of the stuff. And I could really tell that my tabletop skills were not very good for this game. The first game, I just screwed up my deployment with the having the 2 units of foot guard right next to each other. It was just a dumb mistake, and he alpha striked in with 2 units of cav and just wiped him out. Plus, I'd let one of my generals on wing beasts get charged by another flying unit early in the game. I didn't think he could fit, and he showed me he could easily fit, and he was right. And so just another key mistake in that game. But I did everything I think I did right, because I think his mistake was not leaving some people back to guard those objectives, and I was able to snag all 3 like super fast. And then he was fighting on the scrambling to try to get back in the game, even though, like I said, he had my army pretty much devastated on the right flank by that time. But I tried to do my best to focus on winning the scenario, and that's what happened in that game. And my focus on that got me a draw instead of having me utterly crushed. So I was pretty happy with that game, honestly, just because of just that, of sticking with the scenario and not trying to worry about how much stuff I'm losing. I just give units away. As long as it don't get to an objective, I don't care. And so that's what happened in that game. And I was just shocked, though, on how that somebody moved their whole army that forward that fast, that soon in a game, because I guess that's the definition of alpha strike. But I don't think I've actually ever played against one before. So it was kind of cool. I enjoyed the game. Just like I said, especially after Tom Annis had told me this week that not to put them together because you could either doubly engage them or you could doubly chaff them, and I would just sit there like a dummy and stuck them right together. I don't know why. It just seemed like the thing to do at the time. So I didn't make that mistake the rest of the games, so I was pretty happy with that. Game 2, the terrain really boffed up the game for me. I thought I was so confident in this game. Everything was just going right. I'd already killed his left flank. I'd killed his right flank. And then really late in the game, I had that charge in with the foot guard into his, I think they were already even wounded, his silly Molochs, and just could not roll dice to save my ass. It was pathetic. And then, of course, they have Fury, so even though they charge right back in, even if you get them to Waverland, and then, of course, Molochs are really good troops. I love them. I use 2 hordes myself, so I like JJ's list a lot. And matter of fact, I'm going to maybe glom some elements off of it since it is similar to some of the stuff that I run. So anyway, but he deserved the win. I just couldn't. And then the end there, the getting shot off the table by his by Bale and the all the drain life. I mean, he had 16 dice of drain life, I think, in the middle there with those two Croniuses, plus Bale's 7-die lightning bolt, plus the aspiring champions dice. I'm not saying it's a shooty army. I'm just saying is that I was really vulnerable to that late game. To do that. And in the early game, I solved all the shooting. I mean, he hardly ever shot anything, but it was at the end of the game, though, when I'd lost, when everything had went pear-shaped with the foot guard over there, and all of his heroes were able to escape and move wherever they wanted, I was done. So anyway, great game for JJ, great win for him. The third game, I really wasn't into it, I have to admit. So there's a lot of stuff in that game that I let the young man undo, because I told him, I said, you don't want to do that because I'm going to do this, or you don't want to do that. And so in the end, I was just playing for a draw. I didn't care if I won. I mean, I wasn't going to win anything anyway. So I just decided it was more fun to sit back and teach him and let him play and enjoy himself, let him roll some dice, and it just turned out well. I mean, I enjoyed the game. Everything was fun to me. So it accomplished what I wanted to do. In this thing, I mean, I was still a little bit bummed about the previous game with JJ, but I mean, hopefully it didn't reflect in the game, because I mean, I was laughing and smiling, I'm pretty sure, the whole time, laughing at this kid and having a good time playing him. So that was the end of my first day. Wasn't what I wanted, but on the other hand, I lost one game, right? Hey. So on my second day, I was really curious how I drew a Vampire Counts army, the best army in Kings of War. But it turns out that this was Trent's first time he's been playing, so he was rather inexperienced. And but he'd been picking up experience all during the day. So I mean, he had 3 games before to really learn how to play his list and try to do a little bit better than he had been doing in the previous day. Seeing that he started placing zombies down, I was not scared of the middle part of his army. I mean, zombies are not a threat to foot guard, right? I mean, who would think that? Hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s? Probably not a big threat to my army. So I tried to set up strong on both flanks to prevent these stupid werewolves from getting around my flank. They're very fast and very good. And he also had a Lycanus over here for help with the inspiring. And so that's how he set up. And like I said, I stuck my foot guard in the middle. I did not stick them together, Tom Annis. I put a unit of fanatics in between them to act as chaff. So, but they are sort of together, but just not all together. But I did the same thing. I just to put everything to defend, because he was going to try to go fast around both flanks. And so what I did is I just stuck everything. I stuck all the pikemen on one end and more pikemen on the other end, and the generals on winged beast over there to slow him down, not to just let him fly around behind my army. So he got his Lycanus a little too close. Like I said, this is another, he's trying to learn too, so I'm trying to help him a little bit with the rules. Not so much rules, but just not to make mistakes. And so the Lycanus got a little close. I wild charged into him with the fanatics just to hold him up. I actually just want to hold the line up, as you can see. I'm just trying to slow it down. He has to kill that unit now to kill him, so that means he doesn't get to me for a while. So the zombies all moved forward, and I'm in playing a true Sam list. You actually let people charge you. So my mistake here was, though, as I didn't think that he got both units of zombies aimed at one horde of my foot guard, but I still wasn't afraid, because they're not going to do that many hits. And then whenever I turn around, I am going to annihilate anything like zombies that attack a unit of foot guard, right? Over here, classic Sam list. I jump 3 flyers over to the other side of the world, and now I'm in his backfield to get ready to do stuff. I charged my lone hero into what's the vampire guy, Morgul or whatever the hell his name is, to keep him from throwing spells. And of course I miss. It's just the way it is. but I did get all my flyers in the backfield over there, and I had to turn my some of my pikemen because he is faster on that flank. And I may have could have did a Mexican standoff with him, but my I just it didn't occur to me. I don't know. I should have just done that and then went after him like that. Maybe I could see this turn. I could have probably killed all those ghouls, just by single charges from 2 generals on winged beasts. Just went into each one and killed them. And so probably a mistake, but you can see what's going to happen in a minute. So yeah, I just let the zombies attack my unit of foot guard in the middle, and he rolled dice out his ass. I'm just going to say it right like that. It was amazing. I mean, for 5s, hitting me like 20 times with 5s, and then the other one did a whole bunch too. It just wiped them out in one go. So I was in deep doo-doo right here. And now those gore blights, there's one coming in on the flank of my pikemen, and the ghouls I think had already killed the pikemen on that end. And oh man, this game went pear-shaped in a damned hurry. So anyway, so I needed to do some response. I'm fighting another gore blight thing, or whatever they're called over here, and one of his units of werewolves had charged into my pikemen, but they were hindered charging through the woods, so they weren't probably going to do very much damage. So over here, his dice rolling prowess was again exhibited by hindered ghouls charging into pikemen and killing them in one shot. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's just like the perfect storm of oh my godness. And at this point, I'm like, what? So I was in not good shape for at this point. So over here, the fanatics had went ahead and charged into that melee with the werewolves, because the werewolves have a slightly wider base than my pikemen do, so I was able to hit the corner there. The Battle Standard Bearer cast Bane Chant on the foot guard, and that absolutely killed the Gore Blight or Ghoul Blight or whatever the hell his name is. And he was in deep trouble. There, because now I have that unit of foot guard, and I went ahead and did a nimble fly around to the flank of his zombies, so to try to eliminate them. I charged my fanatics down the hill into his zombies, and did quite a few wounds. I think I did 10. It was a really good hit from those guys. Over here, I had wiped out one of his ghoul units, and the other unit of zombies with a front charge from the pikeman, and then a rear charge, I think, or a side charge from the general on winged beast. But now I'm in a wonky situation because I did them in the wrong order, so I had to turn the general on winged beast around to the wrong direction, I think, and that was not a good thing for me. So over here, I was doing some coaching to help this young man, because right now, if he doesn't screw around, he can have these 2 table quarters, or 2 table sections. They're not quarters, they're thirds. So that was what I was trying to tell him to do. I said, you can charge your werewolves in there and maybe help your ghouls in a fight, or help your gore blight, but it's more important to try to win the game here. And so you're better off sitting on these 2 chunks of on these 2 ends of the table, and than it is to come over here and try some meaningless fight and then get flanked by a general on winged beast and killed. And so he took it to heart. I hope he learned what I wanted him to learn, which is, sometimes it's better not to fight. Sometimes it's better just to go ahead and take these and try to win the scenario, and just ignore the fact that, I could get another charge, or I could get another this or that. So yeah, over here, his ghouls did charge into my unit of pikemen, did 3 wounds, and of course he wavers them. Are you freaking kidding me? They're ghouls hitting pikemen, and wavered them. He also wavered my general on winged beast. I've got him turned sideways because of his wings won't fit, when the other guy's next to him. So anyway, that stopped that. His 2 necromancers were draining life like crazy on my poor guys over there, and so that was that wasn't good for me. back here in the middle, his zombies countercharged my fanatics. And see, this is what zombies are supposed to do. He did 1 wound. That's what zombies are supposed to fight like. They're not supposed to fight well, they're not supposed to fight as good as his ghouls, obviously, but they're supposed to just be junk in a fight, and they're just a placeholder. But my gosh, it was just some weird dice fluctuation in this game. So in this thing, I went ahead and charged the ghouls that were fighting my pikemen, and the reason why is because I'm trying to get rid of unit strength. I figured that my general on-wing beast there could handle the Gorblight thing, and I had units coming to its aid to rescue him. And so I went ahead and got rid of one of the ghoul units, and that was going to help me out, as far as some unit strength and stuff there. So over here, my guys secured the left flank at this point, and what I ended up doing is sidestepping those stupid foot guard to get to the other side of the table. I just did not want to turn because the Lycanus was still there fighting, and he still had another unit of werewolves over there fighting. So I was in trouble over here because I knew that I probably could not beat the werewolf unit there unless they charged the foot guard, and the foot guard could get him, or if he left himself open so the foot guard could do stuff. So but it was kind of interesting over here because it's still very, very tight at this point. So yeah, what happens over here on this left flank is the foot guard go ahead and kill the Lycanus. He was already wounded. He had been fighting fanatics the whole game, just about. Matter of fact, he killed 2 units by himself. And so the foot guard ended up killing him and then sidestepping into the other side of the table to get that section. His werewolves nimbled down here behind this train, and then I had to turn my pikeman to fight him. And he charged them at the very last turn, I think, and ended up wavering them, but did not kill them. So now he has unit strength 3 with his werewolves. I have unit strength 3 with my pikemen. So that section of the table is nothing. And then I have the upper left section of the table. So I'm going like crazy. It's toward the end of the game. I'm going like crazy over here trying to kill that stupid Gorblight thing. My pikeman got wavered again by the ghouls. Are you kidding me? It's just, I cannot believe it that ghouls could hit that well on pikemen, because my pikemen are usually pretty much immune to everything. So anyway, they come in there, and I'm pretty sure what happens next is the fanatics hit the ghouls and finally do finish them off. And we're trying to kill that last Gorblight thing, but those two, he's got drain life 15 or some absurd amount. It's maybe not 15, but it's an absurd amount. He's just healing the stupid thing back as fast as it can damage it. So yeah, this time I finally get the General on-wing beast into the flank of the Gorblight thing, and one in the front. So that's going to kill him. The ghouls die, and now I'm in good shape here in this middle, because all I need is 1 unit to go back here on the other side and get the 2 points for the victory. But remember all those dice of drain life? It's just going to be tragic. You're going to love it. So yeah, in the end here, my stupid Pegasus got drained a turn before, and then at the end of the killing the Gorblight thing, the other General on-wing beast backed up into the other side of the table, but then he rapidly got sucked down by drain life as well. So this is like 2 games at the very end of the game where late turn missile attack has cost me. But I have this this section, and I have the 2 sections, the section in the other corner. The section to my left and closest to me is contested because the werewolves and the pikemen are fighting there. And thanks to my advice, I want to point this out to you, young man. You had 2 sections over here with nothing in them, and so that gave you a draw, where if you would have got impetuous and charged into the fight over here, you would have lost the game. So it was a good game. I hope he learned a little bit from it and fought to a very well earned draw. And so now I'm up to 3 draws and a loss. So not lost a game. Only lost 1 game so far anyway. So Carl made the trip with me and rode with me on the trip and stayed with me. And so we had to play each other on the last game. So I told him, they're supposed to play, I think, Salty. I despise Salty Earth. It's a horrible scenario to me. So we said, let's just play kill on the last game, and said, I'm just going to shove my guys forward in any old way forward and charge whatever I can charge. And so there wasn't much strategy in this game. I was just trying to kill as many stupid dwarves as I could kill, and regardless of losses. And so that's what I did. I pushed the whole army forward as hard as it would go, right into the teeth of it. And Carl castled in the corner with behind his elementals, so that was going to be really hard for me to get in there and do anything. So like I said, I come piling forward and slammed into his sharpshooters and his 2 organ guns with 3 flyers, or I'm sorry, 2 flyers and the hero, and flew 1 flyer over to threaten the flank of his ironclad. And I don't know what Carl's got in his head. He must have my other flyer. I must have flown him over there as well too. But I'm trying to push through, but there's so much woods in the way I can't get to him to fight him. So at least in the middle here, there wasn't any terrain, so I could just come blitzing forward as quick as possible. Carl valiantly sent his rocks forward to die and delay me and to do the best they can to keep me from getting. And, you know, I don't really have a whole lot that can deal with Armor 6 guys. So probably not a bad move. I mean, what are pikemen going to do to them, huh? Like 1 wound a turn? Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad. But what I'd done is I'd stacked fanatics in a row behind him, so as he killed the first one, then the second one would get him, and then hopefully one in the flank would get him. So I was really pushing it. And you can see both of my generals on wing beast are now on the edge of the square, because there's really no defense there. But his bear rider, what's he called, general on large beast, the dwarf equivalent, is going to come over there and delay me, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, here comes all the elementals. I mean, the regular earth elementals are charging into pikemen, so yeah, they're going to get hurt, but they're not going to get hurt as bad as, I mean, I'm pretty sure that I can hold here because my ASB is staying there. Now, that greater earth elemental, he is going to have his way with those unarmored fanatics. But on the other hand, basically to his army, my whole army's unarmored. So it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But he's there. He's trying to delay me from hitting his other infantry line. So yeah, my pikemen did hold out to his earth elementals, but they were wavered. But that's okay. A unit of fanatics charged them in the flank. The rest of my guys moved forward. My unit of fanatics fighting his greater earth elemental actually survived the attack. I think they took 6 wounds, but they're 15 unbreakable, and so they were able to go. 1 unit of, I think I charged something into the flank of one of his Iron Guard units, and I killed it. His I think I probably charged 2 Griffins, generals on wing beast, into one of those units and killed it. So now his Ironclad are going to have to deal with it, and his bear rider is sitting over there facing down my another one of the generals on wing beast. I'm trying to swing over here. I've got rid of the all of his shooting over here, but he still has a unit of Iron Guard, and those guys are a little tough, so I'm going to try to get rid of them as well. Yeah, the dwarf left flank is going to cease to exist under attack by 2 units of elite foot guard, and everything over there is wiped out. Well, we did have some good fights going on over here. The greater earth elemental punched through the fanatics. I did 6 wounds to it over time, so that wasn't too bad. And into the next unit of fanatics, and then the his earth elementals, I think, whiffed again. I think they wavered the pikemen again. They didn't kill him, and so now they're in a grind match there. Up here, the my unit of pikemen had charged into the flank of his ironclad, and like I said, there are no tactics here. I'm just pushing every model into the fight that I can. So stuck the hero on a horse and the griffin into the front. The general wing beast into the front. Those guys in the flank. Hoped for the best. My other general on wing beast is fighting his bear guy, and now all the foot guard are trying to get the game. But this is late in the game, so there's no way in hell they're going to get there. So yeah, this is in retribution. His bulwarkers charged the pikemen in the flank. This is hilarious because it's 60 attacks for 3s, and then he bane chanted them on top of that to add insult to injury. So it was going to be an annihilation. Everything else is still grinding. I think the bear guy and the griffin or general on wing beast, they're all bashing on each other. But like I said, we're just pushing figures as fast as we can together so that we have a good game. So the greater earth elemental has now broken through. He's up to 9 wounds, so he is not in good shape, actually. The guys that were going to go try to help in the very middle now have had to turn. They start going toward the woods, toward the bulwarkers. But like you said, you can see everything is just clustering to the corner over there. My problem is I can't get enough guys in to actually do any damage to him. So this was actually the last picture of the game. We totaled up the points. I think I'd killed 800. He had killed 800. So it was around that. So it was pretty much. Like I said, we weren't going to play Salt the Earth, so we just played kill, and just put it down as a draw. And there was no attrition because, like I said, I couldn't get into his stuff fast enough to kill it. So there was no way I was going to beat him with the differential you need to win in a game of kill. But he and I had a good time. I was as much as fighting this battle to put my army up as it was to win it. So at least Carl and I had a good time on the very last game of the tournament and enjoyed our trip home later that day. So I did finish the tournament with 4 draws and 1 loss, and with a little bit of lucky die rolling, I could have had 5 draws. So probably nobody that played against me was unhappy. So I guess that's a bonus from this whole thing, even though it's kind of disappointing in some ways. Just the strangest thing. I get a lot of draws at tournaments because I'm happy with it. They're fine with me. I'm not a win at all cost. I used to be a win at all cost player, but that train has left the station, as they say. So now I'm just happy to not get crushed every game, and so that was kind of my goal of this was not. But I really didn't feel my list was outmatched by anyone. I didn't feel like I was going in there, with no chance at any game. I really felt like, that I would have had a chance against anybody. So I guess that's a good thing. I mean, and that's I didn't bring an overly weak list, and so I thought that was good. As far as Team Tennessee, Sean Dietrich was our highest finisher. He had 3 wins and 2 losses, but he also won Best Painted Army, so that was good. I mean, so we were in the prize category. David Brown, or Chaos Dave as we call him, I think he had 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. I really think he could have won the last game. I'm not sure what happened there, but something unfortunate, I'm sure. Excuse me. Carl, he didn't do as well as he probably wanted to, so he had a win, a draw, and 4 losses. So unfortunate, but he's playing dwarves, and it was his first tournament. I bet it's the first tournament for Carl in over a decade. So I really wouldn't worry about it. I mean, so now he kind of sees what the environment is like and then what kind of army to build, and so I think that will be a good thing looking down the road. So my army performed just fine. Their commander, not so much. So anyway, if you're thinking about taking this Sam Nordberg list to a tournament, do yourself a favor and learn from some of the mistakes that I've made during this thing. A couple of the things that I think that my variant was okay, and I'll tell you what I liked about it. Normally that list would have 5 units of pikemen. I had 4 units of pikemen. I had a regiment of fanatics, and I really liked the regiment of fanatics instead of the other unit of pikemen because they could sneak in there with a flank charge or something and just annihilate stuff. So that was a good unit in there to replace that 5th unit of pikemen. But I found at the late games, in some of the latter games, that having that other unit of pikemen, like to have 2 units of pikemen on one side of the line and 3 on the other, may have been a better fit. So it's just you just have to play it and try it. I mean, in my play testing, the fanatics did better, but in actual gameplay, I'm wondering if the other unit of pikemen would have been better off. What I did in my army is I put a couple of units. I used some Indomitable Will on a couple of units of the foot guard, and it never was used. It was a total waste of 20 points. And of course, you'll play it, and the first thing you'll say is, "I wish I had Indomitable Will on my foot guards." I'm telling you, it's just usually if stuff was that bad to hit you, it killed you. That's exactly what happened. I mean, I didn't get wavered not one single time with the foot guard. So I'm thinking that is that's some points that I could scavenge for something else. I used a Pegasus and one hero during the game, and normally in the SAM list you use three heroes, three just mounted heroes, not anything special about them. But I really missed those three heroes, and I'll tell you why. It's because did you see there was two in last turn wins by my opponent, or last turn reversals. Let's say we're not going to say wins every time, but if I would have had those three guys, all I had to do was wound one of those guys with one of those heroes and prevented a drain life or prevented a lightning bolt or prevented something that tipped the game. It also, they could actually be used like missiles. That's why Sean Dietrich and I call them missiles, because let's say that you have a unit that's teetering on the edge and you just need them to make one more morale test to break them. And that's where they come in. I mean, if you've got one hanging around, he goes zinging across the table. I mean, move fast and puts a wound on somebody and makes them take that critical test. So that's one of the other things. And plus, they still can be used as I use them as chaff type things by just doing spoiling attacks. So somebody has to kill them or has to move through them. If it's a little chaff unit, like a swarm or something, sometimes they'll kill it by themselves. So they never disappoint. That's what I'm going to say about the heroes on a horse, is that they never disappoint. I've never said I wish that I didn't have them. At the end of this tournament, I was there thinking I wish I would have had all three of them, and not the other way around. What I might do though for a tournament list, and this will just be my friendly advice, and because it's not a big change to the list, I would drop the Trickster's Wand on the one of the generals on Winged Beast. It's just been useless. It's just not been worth it, because usually I need to be charging. I don't need to be sitting around throwing a Trickster's Wand at somebody. So what I would do instead is I would take the 15 points and put 5 points of Indomitable Will on all three of those mounted heroes. So now if they get wavered and for some reason, like on a shooting attack on the way in, they can pop the Indomitable Will and keep right on going. Those heroes would have been so valuable if I had to have played somebody else that had a lot of shooting. I really screwed up the use of the foot guard during this game. I thought they could take some charges and then swing back and do a lot of damage, but just was not able to do so. Some of it was just bad luck. Some of it was just poor math doing on my time. I really think that I'm going to have the but the ASB with loot near one of those units, because I really need them to perform when they get a counterattack on somebody, and to make sure that what they hit stays dead. And so going to really rethink about that whole part of the list as far as deployment, is to get the ASB a little closer to them and just not worry about if the pikemen break and run or the pikemen get wavered or whatever. Just not that big a deal. And so I did make a couple of mistakes with them as far as deployment. I need to really think that through again. I mean, I've used them a bunch of times now, and never have really had a problem with them doing their job. At this tournament, they just seem to be like attract trouble. I mean, it was bad. I mean, the zombie one-shotting them, that was the weirdest thing I think I've seen playing Kings of War. I mean, 25 for 5s and then just wipe out a damn horde of foot guard. Are you kidding me? So it was that was just bizarre. I don't know if I'll ever see that again in a game, but didn't really anticipate losing them in that game. So really probably one of the reasons that game was a draw was just because the dice were so wonky in that game. It was just crazy. I mean, you just look at it, if sometimes you just laugh because there's nothing you could do about it, and hopefully, it doesn't happen again. So anyway, I love the foot guard. I hate to say it, but I almost really wish I would have had a horde of pikemen and one horde of foot guard and one horde of pikemen, just to be able to hold a little bit. But I mean, I would have those pikemen tricked out. I mean, I would want them with the brew of strength, or I want them with brew of sharpness, and and they would be expensive. They would be a gigantic point sink, but they are so damn hard to kill being pikemen. I think that there's so much crushing, especially in the tournament world, that armor is irrelevant at some point. I mean, armor is okay for shooting and stuff, but I mean, these cavalry guys are hitting you, and and you're okay. I hit you for that and plus twos. Well, if they got crushed too, they're just whacking right through you. So does it really matter that you have armor except for against archery? And even then, most people that use shooting now have piercing one on the shooting, so it's almost irrelevant anyway. So not saying it is, but I'm saying it's almost. It reduces a little bit, but it doesn't do that much. So it's really something you have to think about. That I really think that you could use this list with one tricked out horde of pikemen instead of the second foot guard unit. And my other thought was that if I thought I could afford the points, I would just keep having more units of regiments of pikes and fanatics instead of having foot guard anyway, because all the damage gets done by the fanatics and the generals on winged beasts. So you just have to play it and think it. I'm going to go back to the original SAM list for testing and stuff, and then start tweaking it from there again. But I am going to make that change to the getting rid of the Trickster's Wand and going to Indomitable Will on all three of those little heroes, so that just in case they get wavered on the way in to a fight. And I think that is a good compromise thing to do, because I think it just strengthens the list quite a bit more than having the Trickster's Wand, which I forget about 99% of the time anyway. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tournament report. I hope nobody took any offense to anything I've said. I mean, I'm trying to say nice things about everybody and basically to tell you exactly what happened. And so I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you will put the circle of iron on your calendar for next year, and come down and play some games with us in Northern Alabama.